Hello, my name is Justin Wood, and today I'll be talking to you about how to do your oil change yourself. I'll be talking today about a topic that is very near to me as I'm a technician for Mercedes, and I also like to do my own car maintenance, and I also encourage other people to do their own car maintenance because it saves a lot of money and it just leads you into doing new things that maybe you've never tried before, and it's actually really fun. So let's get into it. So here we'll see the overview of what we'll be discussing today, um, the certain tools that you will need, how to lift the vehicle, how to drain the oil, how to replace the oil filter, how to lower the vehicle, and also adding the oil to the engine after you're completed. The tools required for doing your own oil change will be a jack and jack stands. Most vehicles will come with their own jack, so you may not even need to buy one of those, but you will need to get jack stands for setting the vehicle up. You don't want to leave it on the jack itself, that could be dangerous. You're going to need a drain pan for the oil to fall into, and also a funnel for filling the oil after you're finished. You're going to need an oil filter wrench for replacing the oil filter, wrenches for the drain plug, typically between sizes 13 to 17 millimeter are what you're going to need. It varies depending on which vehicle it is that you're working on. You're going to need a socket for the under panels. Many vehicles nowadays will have a plastic or metal panel underneath the engine that will need to be removed before you drain the oil. And then the last option there is called a creeper. That's optional. It just makes it a little easier to get underneath the car once you're working on it. It's basically a board on wheels that you can roll underneath the vehicle with. It just makes things easier. So our first step in doing your own oil change is lifting the vehicle. You're going to want to go on either side of the vehicle first, right behind the front wheel, and jack the car up. There will be a lifting point right there that you will jack the car up there and then place the jack stand underneath right next to that lifting point. There will be a pinch weld or the actual frame of the vehicle, depending on what kind of car you're working on, to place the jack stand there. And then once you're done on either the passenger or the driver's side, you just do it to the other side the same way. And you're going to want to lift it high enough to where you can fit underneath the front end of the car, either on the creeper or just on your back, whichever way you're going to do it. So that's the first step, lifting the vehicle. The next step, you're going to drain the oil. So you're going to get underneath the car, take off the under panel if there is one installed. You're going to loosen the drain plug and screw that out completely. Make sure that your drain pan is underneath the oil pan and underneath of where you're taking the drain plug out of so that you don't make a big mess everywhere. Loosen the drain plug and then just twist it out and let it fall into the drain pan and let the oil continue to drain. Note something here. It is best to do the oil change with the engine hot. The engine oil will be it'll be less viscous with the added heat, and means it'll drain faster and better. You'll get more of the oil out of the engine instead of just having, if it was cold, it would just kind of be cakey at the bottom, and you'll want to get all of that out of there. So best to do the oil change when it's hot. Another good point here is there will be a crush washer normally on the drain plug. You're going to want to replace that. That is so that there will be no leaks at the oil plug, the drain plug. You're going to want to replace that crush washer. So be sure that whenever you get your parts, get that washer as well. So replace that washer, and then after the oil's done draining, put that plug back in and go ahead and tighten that down. So after you drain the oil, you're going to want to change the oil filter. First step is to find it. Most American cars will have a spin-on filter underneath the vehicle. Many European cars will have a canister style filter cartridge up top, so it'll be under the hood. Just depends on what kind of car you have as to where the oil filter is. So you're going to need to take your oil filter wrench, whatever style it is that you need to use, loosen up that oil filter, take the oil filter off. If it's a spin-on type, you're going to want to let it drain and have that oil fall into the drain pan as well. And then after it's done draining, you can remove it completely. And then with a cartridge style, you'll just loosen it and take the filter out. You won't have to worry about draining the oil out of that. With the cartridge type filter, you're going to have an O-ring on the filter housing itself that you're going to want to replace. And then on a spin-on oil filter, there is a gasket that fits inside of the top of the filter. You're going to want to be sure that that gasket does not stay on your engine. Because if it does, and you spin on the new oil filter, you're going to basically do what we call in the industry is double gasketing the filter. And that will cause a massive oil leak. And if you don't notice it, you're going to run your oil low and empty and damage your engine. So you want to not do that. So go ahead and install the new oil filter and twist it on. If it's a spin-on, you're going to want to twist it to where it contacts the engine and then spin it another 1/2 to 3/4 turn so that it's good and tight. And then the cartridge style filters, you'll just want to torque those down with a wrench and socket, whatever it is that you're using. So that's the changing the filter. Now you're going to want to fill the engine with the oil. You're going to want to go to your owner's manual. That's where you'll find the proper oil level, the quantity that you're going to have to put in there. Remove the oil filter or the oil filler cap, and then insert that funnel that we discussed about in the beginning. Put that funnel in the filler cap hole and pour in all the oil that's recommended. Put the cap back on and go ahead and start the engine. Let it run for about 20 to 30 seconds or so that you can get that oil circulating in the engine and then get it up into the oil filter as well, and then turn it off. Let it sit for probably 5 minutes or so to make sure that all the oil has drained back into the pan, and then go ahead and check your oil level with the dipstick. You're going to want to do that. You got to make sure that the right level is in there, and that's the best way to check it. So that's pretty much it, what you're going to be doing your own oil change. So don't be intimidated by it. A lot of people may say, oh, it's not that much money to have some other people do it, but you can really save a bunch of money if you do it yourself. Just follow the steps, save the money. It can be a fun, father-son, father-daughter, daughter-son, daughter-daughter project, however it goes in your family. But yeah, it's basically just a good time and a way to save money. Thank you for listening. Have a great day.